Alright, welcome back everyone to another episode of MC Eternal. I hope that everyone is having a great day. I know that I am. I have been playing this game quite a bit today, and I made some good progression, so I figured we'd knock out an episode. So today is May the 12th of 2020. You guys will be seeing this on Saturday, per our normal 3-day rotation now with our two other series that are going on. We have Crash Lands, and we also have Before We Leave. So if you're interested in those, check them out on the channel. We're probably like 3 to 4 episodes in on each one of those, and I'm having a blast with all of them. So I actually had started recording an episode earlier today. Just didn't like the progression of where it was going, so I figured I would start fresh. You guys didn't really miss too much. Pretty much a lot of explanation, catching up on what I've done so far at the beginning. And then we were just trying to gather some resources on what we are doing today. So, first and foremost, Tweedledee and Tweedledum have been retired for the time being. So, I spent a good amount of time building, and these guys just kind of jump around way too much. And they get annoying when they get stuck in walls and they start taking damage. So, I figured it'd be best to just stick them in imprisonment capsules and then stick them up on the wall for the time being. So that's where they're going to reside for the foreseeable future. It is raining outside, unfortunately, but we got to deal with what we got to deal with. I wonder, I did get actually a new tool. I crafted off camera, the Eclipsed Clock. So if we take this bad boy out, we stick it on here. I want it to be a nighttime. Is that going to do it for us? That makes it go that way, like so. Now I'm not 100% sure on this bad boy on how to work it. Eclipse, if I could spell. Okay, here's the info on it. This is how you make it. An Eclipse Clock allows you to change the time of day. After you hang it on a wall, you can shift right click to decrease and increase its target time. Hovering it with a time in a bottle in your hand will display the time necessary to fast forward to the set time. Right clicking it with the time in the bottle will consume that amount of time from that. Okay, so that's how we do it. Okay, that's interesting. So we have to use it in conjunction with time in a bottle, but it stopped raining anyway, so we're gonna go outside. So first and foremost, I'll start with what I did around our village here. I went around with that biome staff with our bog biome, and I changed all of the paths to be bog biomes because it changes the grass to be this darker tone, almost dirtier. This is the normal grass tone over here. This is obviously the bog over here. I just went around, made all the paths like that because it adds that little dirtiness to everything. I mean, it's a path, there's people traversing it all the time, and it's going to be dirty. I mean, it is what it is. So with doing that, I think it just added a little bit of extra, a little bit extra uniqueness to our paths, I would say. Now, next thing is I did do a little bit of terraforming over here. If you remember, there was a hill that stuck out about over to this spot right here. I pushed it all the way back, set up a new hut here for our cows and our pigs going forward. I did have another Mugma, but I don't know what happened. Some of them must have got attacked and died, unfortunately. But I can easily make some more of these bad boys if I wanted to. We only have cows in here for now, but we could always put pigs in here. I did expand this way then. Got more path in here where our chickens are going strong. I did set up a bridge so we can go from our farming area to the backside of our house over here. And then finally, for the main event, I really overhauled our witch area, like our witch's hut, our potion brewing, our fishing area. Completely overhauled it with some new designs and some new blocks. So let me get to a higher vantage point so you guys can see what we've done as the sun goes down, which is going to make it a little bit harder to see. But I added some willow trees in, some more willow trees with a different kind of willow tree, which is pretty cool. You have the white ones and then just the normal ones here. I changed up our path to be a little bit darker. I changed the bricks that we're using on the building as well. So if I come in closer here, they're called wither logs. You can find them in the overworld here. They are typically give off a poison, so you want to be careful when you're getting up on them. Make sure you have enough health or you're prepared for it. But they are a very dark log, and they naturally have this moss on some of them, which is really cool. With the trees, they also have these roots as well as these broken logs, which add a bunch of effect to a building, especially if you're trying to make it look a little more organic or like it's almost growing into the ground that it's in, which is super cool. I really, really like how this turned out here. I also added in some iron fences. I chiseled them to be these like spiked iron fences, and so it just adds a very, dark kind of tone to things. I didn't really do too much else over here other than making some more of this area the bog biome. Now if we go inside, you can see what I have set up in here. It is a little bit dark, so maybe it would actually benefit us if I grab my sleeping bag and let's sleep until tomorrow so you guys can see this a little bit better. The whole idea is to have it darker, but just because it's not done, I don't have all the lights up, so it's a little bit too dark. But yeah, so this is what we have going here. So as you can see, took out the stairwell and I just utilized the whole space. I have an elevator here so we can go up and down. I switched out to use wither planks as our main walls here. Put some chiseled glass panes up there, and then these are willow wood planks down here just as accents. And then I added these roots and these broken logs in here or there, again to add that effect that this is basically a living building, which is pretty cool. Got a lantern over here, and I used nightstone bricks as our little tabletop area over here where we have our brewing stand, and then I made some candles. And these candles are super easy to make. I'll show you really quick. You just have to make sure you have the resources for it, obviously. You just need a little bit of string and beeswax or tallow. I had a bunch of the tallow from Cork there, and they were pretty easy to make. You make them and they're unlit, and then you need to light them yourselves after you place them. When you break them, it does get rid of the flame though, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, obviously no roof yet. I'm still tinkering on how I want to do it. I've decided I don't want to go with thatch roof like how we've done over there. I want to do something a little bit different, so I'm just thinking on it a little bit more, especially with the new color palette we're going with. If I hop into the basement, I used more of the nightstone bricks as our walls to keep it darker, and then we have our whole fishing setup. I also added a trash can to get rid of some of the dungeon tactics items that we don't need, that were kind of clogging up everything. It just makes a little bit more efficient. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it that I've done. I think it looks really cool. I think aesthetically it adds a lot to it. I tried to build out this willow tree down here to make it look like it was going into the water a bit more. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the length of it. If you do remember from last episode, we had a troll that was over there that we were messing around with, and I was showing you guys towards the end, and I was going to recapture him once it became night again. Unfortunately, he did not unfreeze. He's stuck like that, so I just kind of left him where he was, which is perfectly fine. So anywho, what are we doing on today's episode? Other than me talking for the first 8 minutes on what I've done off camera, we are jumping into Bewitchment, because I think it would be a really cool accent to our building that we are creating. And also there is a quest line for it. So if we go into magic and spellcasting, we have a whole line right here, this whole chunk of Bewitchment stuff, which looks pretty interesting. I don't know to what lengths we can go for this, but it seems pretty cool. Now, I didn't mean to jump out of that. We already completed the Book of Shadows quest, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know if I had it and then I deleted it or whatever it was, but I don't know where it went. So we need to make a new one. And this is what I've been spending a little bit of time doing and getting. In order to make the Book of Shadows, you need a book, some black dye, straightforward enough. You need a hellebore, or just a hellebore. I don't know how you want to pronounce it. I'm going to go with hellebore. And then a Mandrake Root. The Mandrake Root, if you click on it, it's not going to give you any recipe for it. Whereas the hellebore, it does give you an option that it does spawn in nether fortresses. So I was able to find these in nether fortresses. However, let me get back into this bad boy. You can also grow all of these. So Mandrake Seeds you can find just by taking out grass in the overworld. And we found plenty of these before, but we've ultimately just kind of gotten rid of them. We didn't really need them. Or we didn't pay any attention to them. So you can find those in the overworld along with the hellebore seeds. You can find these in the overworld as well. So I had gone to the fortress like I think I mentioned, and I found some there, but you could also make these. So you can grow them, which is a little bit easier than trying to go hunt down a fortress, especially at early levels. So if you noticed over here by our little pond, I have two of these bad boys going. I do have Mandrake right here to give us some seeds. And then we also have I have a different one planted, the Belladonna seeds, because I figured that at some point we are going to need those as well. Or a belladonna plant. I'll get that planted again. I'm just going to do the mandrake for the time being, which is perfectly fine. Those bad boys will grow in. But I want to get rolling here. I want to get our book crafted because I've been talking way too much. So we should be able to hit this, have everything we need for the Book of Shadows. It's not going to give us a quest progression because we've already done that. And if we take a look in here, it gives us a bunch of information, which is super, super useful if you're not familiar with this mod, which I am not. So we're going to jump into this. So witchcraft is an ancient art of magic and nature. This book shall guide you in discovering its secrets for yourself. So we have a magic overview, the world, the spinning wheel, the distilling and smelting, sigils, circle rites, braziers, cauldron and brewing, poppets, and then our just normal entry index. So if we do the magic overview, you get a ton of stuff in here. And it's actually funny because this is a amulet that we currently use, the Trinkelion amulet, a golden medallion with a swirled shape. It consumes ME in order to grant its owner strength. So that's pretty cool. We have to hit the back button here. And there's a whole ton of things in here, including other things that we've already found. I mean, we found codex entries here. We found the Fortune's Favor. We found the Hecate's Visage, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty cool stuff. If you want to look more into it, take a peek through it yourself in your own gameplay. I'm not going to sit through and read every single page of it because that's not what you guys are here. You guys are here to see a progression through it. So the next step is to get a distillery up and running. I think we can look in here and it talks about it. Let's see, brewing, distilling, here we go, which is oven and distillery. So, despite their mundane uses and appearance, both the oven and distillery are vital to all forms of higher magic. The oven can distill saplings and other items into pure extract, while the distillery can process the fumes with other ingredients into more complex mixtures. And I believe that's actually the next two steps that we have. Actually, the cauldron and then the oven. So we need distillery, cauldron, oven, and then crystal ball, and then we can get into some of the other things for it. So let's get a distillery up and going here. It shouldn't be too hard to do. I really should have bookmarked it though, but that's okay. We should be able to find it here. Somewhere. There they are. There's the distillery. We should have everything we need. So we'll grab that bad boy. And you know what? While I'm thinking about it, I want to add our Book of Shadows to our Aztec Tome or Aztec Tome. Just like so. And then we should be able to go in here and click on the Book of Shadows. So we have it when we need it. So now we have our distillery. I don't know if they need to work in conjunction. So for the time being, I'll just place it right there. And this is what we get when we look on the inside. So it uses blaze powder, very much like our brewing stand, which makes sense. Unfortunately, it doesn't give us a cool indicator like how this one does. But that is one step. We get a little bit of moolah from that. The next one is the Witch's Cauldron. Again, pretty straightforward to make. I just need to hop into the right inventory one of these times. So Witch's Cauldron, boom, we got that. And then we're also going to need the oven, which again, very straightforward to make. So let me think, where do we want to put this? If I put the oven, maybe we'll take a place out of here and put the oven in here somewhere. Like if I were to put it here. kind of doesn't look right there. Let's put back our Nightstone. And maybe we'll just place it right there for the time being. And then we have our Cauldron, which I'm guessing we're going to have to throw stuff into. So I don't really know if I want to have it high up. I probably want it lower down, like so. Yeah, and then we actually might, I'm going to move our brewing station and put it right over here. And put the blaze powder over there, just like so. I think that'll work, and then we can put some more miscellaneous items up on the shelving there. So we got the Witch's Cauldron up and going, we get a little money from that. We got the Witch's Oven, more money from that. And then the next one is to do a crystal ball. So this one shouldn't be too bad to make. Okay, so for a crystal ball, we need a Ritual of Foresight. So we need some glass, some nether quartz, and a droplet of wisdom. To get a droplet of wisdom, you want a elder sapling. Okay, I got you. Do we have a droplet of wisdom? I don't believe we do. But I think we have an elder sapling, if I'm not mistaken. At Bewitchment, we do. Now my question is, can I grow this and get more saplings? Because if we can grow the elder sapling into a tree and then chop her down, yes we can, and utilize it to get even more saplings, then we won't have to worry about it going forward. I really don't need, well, we might need the wood. I was gonna say we don't need the wood, but there's a chance that we might, so I'll hold on to it for the time being. We did get 5 saplings from that, which is perfect. That's a really good amount for us to start with. And you know what I'm actually going to do? For the time being, I'm just going to throw some lights up in here. And then once we get a little further along, I'll obviously take them down and put something different in here. I'm thinking maybe some more lanterns and such, but for the time being, that should be perfectly fine. Let's get rid of these torches. And then what did it say for us? It said that we needed to put it in an oven, correct? So if we go to the crystal ball, the droplet of wisdom, we put it in an oven. Yes, okay. So we'll take one of these, and I think we just use normal coal. So let me grab like 2, I feel like that'll be a waste. Let's just grab a stack of normal coal and stick it in there. Okay. And this seems like this is the right path for it. So we'll get a droplet of wisdom from this. Right? Oh, okay. Hold the phone here. It might not be as frequent as we were hoping for. Yeah, it doesn't give us any percentages, unfortunately. Interesting. Okay, we'll try 2 more. I don't... Whoa, hang on. Maybe we need a bottle there. Maybe that's what I'm missing here. Do we just have an empty jar? Empty jars, yes, okay. Which we need to do with that. Okay, we can make those. Hold the phone here. Didn't tell me we needed to do this. Hop into here, get that, grab some of these. That should be enough. And then we have that going, but can I just put these in here? Will it work like a normal oven? It does. That's perfect. Okay. Our inventory is absolutely destroyed. Let me just try to stick some stuff away. I'm gonna get rid of those. We don't need that on us right now. Yeah, that should be fine. Where is our time in a bottle? Let's try to get this bad boy up and running quicker. And then we're going to stick these in there. So we should be able to do it with just 1 elder sapling once we have these in here. So if we put that in there now, I'm guessing the wood ash will come into play later. Yep, we got our droplet of wisdom. We got some more wood ash, which is cool. All right. Now let's see. We wanted to get a crystal ball. Well, the circle of rituals is what we're going to probably need to do in order to get the crystal ball up and going. So let me take a peek through this book and figure out what we need to get this ritual going. And you know what? I'm a little bit bummed. We might not actually have enough space here for what I want to do. We might actually want to move this bad boy. Maybe we'll put him up there, actually. We'll figure it out. Let me do a little bit of digging in this book, and then when we come back, I'll be ready to make the next steps. Alright guys, so I got some stuff together, did a little bit of reading, a little bit of watching of some videos to get me kind of prepped for what we need to do next. And I think I am at a pretty good place to keep moving forward for at least this episode. So, what I did, as you can probably see on the left side there, is I went over here, I kind of put a little path through here, and then I leveled this out over here, adding in some more loamy dirt or loamy dirt, yeah. Put that all through here because it adds that different color in here. And then I put down a little farm here because there are plenty of other plants from Bewitchment that we're going to want to get planted. So this is going to be our little farm area. And it's also going to correlate into what else we need to get, which is an altar. We need to get an altar up and running here. If we take a peek in our Book of Shadows, this is what we want to do using Stone Witch's Altar. We can easily make these with some empty jars, some salt, some elder wood, and then just some chiseled stone of some kind. So, a little bit on altars. If magical energy is the lifeblood of a witch's haunt, altars are the heart that circulates it. Altars are formed by placing 6 of the same type of altar block in a 2x3 layout, then topping it with a carpet of any color. Altars can pull from the plants in a 32-meter radius and can distribute it to any devices in a 16-meter radius. Thus why I added in the farm right behind that wall there. So the blocks around the altar must not be other altar blocks. Makes sense. You do not want to you don't want to like have them trying to connect even more. And then it kind of gets into some modifiers as well, which helps, I'm guessing, the rituals. So modifiers are grouped into 4 different categories: cups, swords, wands, and pentacles. An altar can only draw from the first item added of each suit, and items of the same suit do not stack. So here's some examples here. So cups, we have glass bottles, flower pots, goblets, and filled goblets, swords, vanilla swords, silver swords, and anthems and violins, wands, candles, torches, and rods, and then precious gems, skulls, and heads, and then the pentacle itself. So I want to get this altar up and running. It's pretty easy to do. You just, like I showed you, have to have the right resources for it, not the willow wood. We need the elder wood. And there we go. That should be everything we need. And I created a space right here, so we're going to do it just like so. And then it said you have to have carpet on top of it. Now let me go back. Let me see. With a carpet of any color. Okay. So we're going to want some carpet. Now it can be any color like they said, and they're pretty easy to make. I don't know if I have any actually. Do I have any? No, I do not. Do I have any wool? I do have wool, which is good. Good to know. How many do we get from each? We get 3, so we're going to have to do 2, so we're going to need 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then do I have any red dye? I don't have any red dye. We can use red floral. Just rose red. We could use rose red. But we don't have any of that. What about rose? No, we don't. And that's what I kind of want to do. I think red would be pretty cool in here. Well, hang on a second. Let's see what dye we have in general. Any dye at all. We do have purple. Purple would be pretty cool. We're going to do purple. That would be pretty sick. So we have all of those, and then we just got to place them like so. We'll get enough, and then we just got to... Oh, okay. So we'll... Well, I made way too much carpet then. We only needed 1 piece of carpet to do that. That's fine. I know you can also find carpet down in some of the dungeons that we've explored before, so if you might already have some in your inventory. I would check there first. So we have our Stone Witch's Altar up and running. Now, the next thing is we could put some modifiers on it, but I'm trying to get back to where we need to go here. I wanted to read a little bit more about what else there is. So we've already gone through trees. I wanted to run through the different plants really quick, just so you guys know what to expect. So there's this Onctium. It's a toxic flower. Again, I believe you can find the seeds for this by just breaking grass. There's the Belladonna, which we already have. There's garlic, which we've seen before. The hellebore, the mandrake, and then finally the white sage there. There's wormwood. There's also moss as well. So those are all of the plants, which is why we set up our little farm over there. There's also animals, which they have a few here, and I didn't realize, but the owls that we have seen are from Bewitchment. The ravens, the snakes, the toads, and the lizards, all of those are from Bewitchment, and I did not realize that, which is pretty cool. So, really what we want to get going is a circle here, right? Because what we're going to want to do in order to get our crystal ball, which I actually should have bookmarked. Let me bookmark it here. Alright. So we want the Ritual of Foresight, and I think we pretty much have everything we need. We just need a certain amount of power for it. I'm curious, it did say it takes heads, so we could put a head on here, which is kind of funny. Now I completely forgot which ritual it said that we wanted. Ritual of Foresight. So let me see, do we have that in here? We have circles. Interesting. These are the sigils, which we don't need. Alright guys, so I had to do a little more research. I do want to preference this now though. I am not an expert at this mod by any means. This is my first time exploring it. So if you were coming here for an in-depth tutorial on it, this is not going to be the place for you. We're just having fun and we're trying to figure out as we go. So what I had to do is I moved our altar from out of here. I did put a chest in here to hold some of our miscellaneous stuff for the time being, so our inventory is actually clean for once. And then I came out here and I have our whole area set up here, and I put our altar out here along with placing some more trees, and I expanded our little water over here down this way and just kind of pushed it out a little bit to have it kind of dribble down the hill there, just to make it a little bit cooler. But for the altar, as I was reading, you are going to have to do rituals with chalk, and you need space for it. And in our house, we just don't have enough space, unfortunately, which is fine. We'll do it outside here, and we'll just have a lot of our storage on the inside, along with our any additional potion brewing and everything like that, like our cauldron and so on and so forth. So we have the altar out here, as you can see, and then I set up some more plants here. So I found wormwood seeds as well as that Onctium seeds. So I got those bad boys growing there. And if we right click on our altar, you see that little 455 out of 455. That is the power that our altar has. And when we looked at the modifiers, and actually if you take out your book and you hold it over something like the altar, I guess it's just the altar for now. If you do the altar, I'm curious if you do if you do these bad boys, any of the witch's devices, it'll take you to that place in the book, which is pretty nice to have, so you don't have to like be flicking through pages. So if we sneak and then click, it'll bring us right to the altar and the modifiers. So we've read through the modifiers, and these are all the different ones. Basically, these will just add more power to the altar so that we can perform rituals. So I'm going to do one of them just to get the ball rolling. And then we'll probably wrap up the episode there because we're already 30 minutes in. And then between episodes, I'll do a little bit more research so that when we come back, we can get going on that crystal ball. So it's looking like it's going to be really 2 episodes around Bewitchment. So I want to do something kind of cool for our modifier. And they said that you could do a candle if you wanted to. You could do a goblet as well. I was also reading that a dragon skull might work as well. But we're going to start probably with just a goblet. And those are super, super easy to make. And you can do a normal one or one that is actually filled. But you do need to put this into a cauldron in order to get it filled. Interesting. I think we could do this really quick. Cloudy, we just need a jungle sapling or cactus. Do we have a jungle? We do not. What about a cactus? We do. Okay, cool. We'll grab one of those. And then we needed, what, 3 pieces of redstone? Alright, we can always grab more if need be. So we have our cauldron. We should be able to come into here. In the witch's oven, we need to cook up the cactus to get the cloudy jar. The cloudy oil? Yeah, the cloudy oil. Okay. I thought it says it's supposed to work. That's interesting. And unfortunately, I don't have... Right, it's just an empty jar. Yeah, this is making things. Oh, there we go. Okay, hang on. It's just not a guaranteed every time, it seems like. Okay. Cool, so we got that going, and we don't need those cactuses. We have our goblet, we have our cloudy oil, and then we also have our redstone. So we should be able to get this ball rolling. So the filled goblet, you need the cauldron, which we got right here. So I'm guessing we just drop things in. Now I'm assuming we're going to want to turn this off. So let me turn this bad boy off. So we'll try to drop all of those. Not what I wanted. So all 3 of those, and then the cloudy oil. Unless we need to put water in it. I mean, that would make sense that you would want water in it. It's a cauldron. Let's grab water. Can we put water in here? We can. Okay. We're figuring this out. So, if we do... Okay, those did not all land in there. Those are pretty close. And then if we do our cloudy oil... I mean, they look like they're all in there. I try to get so adventurous with things and try to do stuff that I probably just shouldn't start off doing. So the cauldron... wash ink. Okay, that doesn't really help us brewing. So of course the main reason for a witch will use the cauldron to conduct brewing. In order to designate cauldron to follow as brew, a mandrake root must be thrown in first before any other ingredient. Ah, okay, so we need our mandrake roots. Let me grab one of those. We'll throw that bad boy in first. Come on. Q. No. Not gonna work? Unless we don't need water in it. Well. Okay, so I figured it out. You have to have a heat source underneath the cauldron in order for it to work. Now, I don't know what all we can really use. For that there, I just used a piece of wood, and then where's our axe? I used a piece of wood, and then I just lit it down there to get it boiling. And it should start boiling again, just like so. You can see the little particles, and then I threw our root in, and so now we should be able to throw that, and then we should be able to throw all of that in there. So that should brew it up, and then we should be able to take the goblet. Where everything's catching on fire. I think we should be able to take the goblet. I threw everything in there that we needed. What do we have right now? Fire resistance. Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, we figured out how we need it to get going. So we'll have to figure out how we want to place it so it doesn't burn down everything. I don't know if we can just put like... Do we have anything that would be hot? I don't really know. We'll have to think about it a little bit more to get this up and running. But for now, we can just place our goblet on our table here. Just like so for safekeeping. And then as you can see, our overall amount of power for our altar went up to 489 with that goblet being on there. I also read that the dragon skull will do it. So if we take a dragon skull... And I think I mentioned this, we can place a dragon skull on there. And I don't know if it regenerates it quicker or... Oh my gosh, that thing's huge. Oh, that's freaking funny. Okay, give me that. That's a little bit too much. But anywho, we're going to wrap the episode there. Obviously, I need to do a little bit of research on Bewitchment so that we can continue going forward with it. So please be kind to me in the comments down below. I do want to hear from you guys on what you're thinking on where the direction is going with this. If you want to see more Bewitchment, let me know. That's the plan for the time being. But just don't be too hard on me. I'm doing my best out here. But if you're new to the channel, you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button and bell notification. Lets you know every single time I post a new episode to the channel. But other than that, guys, I will catch you all in the next episode. Thanks. Bye.